Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pony Montana, and in this video, we are going to be going over part 2 of the New York Jets offensive ebook. Now, before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment down below, be a part of the Noti gang. And if you comment down below, just comment anything. Comment FTA because it's for the algorithm and it helps push these videos to more and more people. And I want to give a shout out to the FTA squad. You guys showed out last video. I appreciate it. Givey, Girl Dad, Prophet. I'm gonna name all you guys because I appreciate y'all. Jamal, Gilly, Ando, D Harm, Vicaria. I don't want to butcher that. Joe Jones, Sean Carter, Classic, Alec, Mel. Appreciate you guys, man. FTA for the algorithm. As always, put it down below. Now, first video, we went over bunch and bunch strong. In this video, we're going over 3 different formations because, again, in my opinion, this is the best passing playbook in the game. It's my opinion, of course, but the reasoning for that is because you've got just so many different offensive shotgun formations that you can excel in. And in this video, we're going to be there's 2 formations that are very, very similar, but we're going to be going over 3 of them. And it's going to be trips tight end, either this one or this tray flex, because the concept is going to be exactly the same. And again, you can take any of these formations, and if you find them in your playbook, you might be able to actually go ahead and, rock whatever I'm using here in your own playbook. And I will be leaving timestamps, so if you guys are looking for something specific, especially when the start of the entire ebook actually starts without me talking so much, I learned how to do timestamps. I just did it. I learned it, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to start off with trips tight end offset. And the audibles for this, you are mainly focusing on running verticals. Why? Because if you guys don't know, the #1 MUT player, I believe he's on Xbox, this is the only play he runs. He runs verticals almost every single play. So you have to make sure that you have verticals on your list of plays. So 2 plays, X under, which is right here. You want that as #1. We always want to run play, and then you want verticals. Your 4th play, dealer's choice. You guys can do whatever you guys want with that. And the reason why I say that this is a very similar formation, because if you go into Trey Y flex, you can literally run something similar. I like to play dagger. But again, you go in here, and again, you have a verticals that's almost exactly the same. It's very, very similar, and it's very, very difficult to guard. Plus, you have a read option out of this one specifically, and you have an inside zone, which allows you to kind of get a little shiftier on the ground. And this year, this stick play is actually very, very good because the out route that's in this play is extremely, extremely good. So let's just go over out of the trips tight end offset. The reason being is because, again, I'm coming out a bunch every single play, and then I'm going to audible into one of these other formations, and we want these to be extremely quick. So the first play that we're going to go over is verticals. This play is crazy this year. It's probably the best that it's ever been. And on the defensive side, we're simply just going to call random plays. Why? Because this play is that good. So your first read is going to be the tight end. Well, this one is a little bit weird because your first read, if you see anybody open coming up on the, in the seams, you have to hit them quick. You have to hit those guys quick. So there's 2 really decent setups. Is you're doing either you're leaving the triangle and O exactly where they are, but you're going to drag O. Excuse me, you're going to drag square. So take a screenshot of this, do whatever it is that you guys want. And of course, you always have the option to block your running back. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the play here. But again, your first read is going to be a quick hit to one of these guys here. If you see that they're open immediately, throw it. I'm telling you, it's what literally the #1 MUT player has been doing, just running verticals nonstop. Then you're going to look at your tight end coming across the field, and that's going to be a quick read as well. And then the running back, if you see him open, that's going to be your, again, this is probably like a quick read play, and it's crazy because it's verticals. And if you allow the time to actually keep going, this route here ends up getting pretty decent separation, and you're able to sit there and throw that, especially if you have a decent quarterback over the top. But yeah, let's call it a couple times, and as you can see, we hit triangle immediately. That's one of the best things about this play is that you have to be like on your look, and then you got the tight end open. This is one of the most versatile plays, it feels like, because you have you have 3 streaks going up the field. One of them, again, the tight end. Again, this is gonna be your safe read. But again, you got 3 streaks going up the field. One of them gets over the top of a lot of the defenses. So I'm gonna try to hit O here. That's O, beautiful. And that's exactly my point. And that's a touchdown. There's so many different options when it comes to this. And you can do all of this by audibling from bunch over to tight offs to this. And if you get a little too cautious and you're kind of nervous about the pressure, you can literally max protect and block everybody. Obviously, nobody's open there, but just giving you guys an example of how easy it's going to be to actually block somebody in this formation. Either way, you got so many options. Now the running back is open. He's got 1 man to beat, but either way, we still gain positive yardage because, again, I say it all the time. You can't go broke while making a profit. Simple. Triangle was wide open, and I chose the worst route to throw to. But again, you see how many different options we have when it comes to this. And I'm actually going to show that because triangle ended up wide open. I listen. Don't make my terrible reads deter you from don't make my terrible reads deter you from running this formation. It might sound silly to just run verticals, but this is really the only play that I'm running out of this formation specifically. So if I go ahead and audible into this, they're all like their defensive lineup has to completely switch, and it's extremely frustrating when it comes to this. Now let's call timeout and let's audible into the X under. Oh, I totally forgot to mention, if you're running trips, make sure you're running trips to the wide side. That's a given when it comes to trips. You don't want to run this to the short side. Now we're gonna run X under. And X under is one of those plays. You're gonna mainly run verticals when it comes to this, and there's really only one setup. You're gonna run it stock, or you can streak the tight end. That's pretty much it. And then the only other thing is I like to motion this guy in because it brings in that corner route. So, he's blitzing. This route beats man coverage here. The corner route beats man. So if you notice that they're in man coverage, you're gonna be able to hit that pretty decently. But let's go over the reads. Your first read is always going to be the running back route. If you see that he's open, again, we're making a profit. We'll always look to make a profit every single time. Then your next read is going to be, as you can see, this guy ends up open because you notice that they're in man coverage, and that's going to be your next read. And then your third read, if you see that this guy's getting separation, then you might want to hold off and throw to him. But your third read is going to be this in route that ends up coming out. He does kind of make a few extra moves like he's doing right here. Look, he literally messes up and doesn't even run his route by the time that we throw. But if I did hold on to the ball a little bit longer, he would have ended up running to the right side, allowing him to get a little bit of extra separation, and he would have been open in the middle of the field. So the next one, same exact play, is you're going to run it absolutely stock, but you're still going to motion this guy in. The tight end route gets pretty decent separation here, as you can see. So even against man coverage, it feels like it does do a decent job at getting open, and you can run it perfectly stock. And as soon as I say he gets a decent job at getting open, I end up throwing an interception. Again, I'm blind, leave me alone. But still, that motion is crucial because it puts that corner in a decent space, and it looks like they're in man coverage again. It puts that corner in such a good spot to beat his man and have a lot of separation and have a lot of space to beat his man in that situation. Very, very easy. So let's go ahead and call the next play that we are calling. And this one is everybody's favorite. Tight offset tight end. And for the audibles for tight offset, and again, these audibles are literally 1 to 2. You got 3 over before you can actually call this. So again, we're coming out in bunch, and then you can even come out in bunch strong offset if you'd like, just so that the audibles are a little bit easier. Again, you can, even if you're maining bunch tight end, and this is one of the reasons why I'm calling this the best formation, the best playbook in the game for passing. So you come out in bunch, and then you click over 1, 2, 3 times, and then you're already at tight offset. If you want to run bunch tight end, click over twice, you're going to be able to run bunch tight end. And again, the formation flips. It's going to confuse your opponent a lot. So again, we're going to call tight offset, and the audibles for tight offset spot, inside zone. Again, I always want a run play. You can switch to this 0-1 trap, but I don't feel like it's as good as it was last year. I feel like the handoff is a little too slow, so I've been using the inside zone instead. If I audible into tight offset, drop my controller. Y out, and then dealer's choice on this last one. PA seams isn't as great, but it does still get decent. Like if you're facing someone who's running cover 2 a lot, this is going to end up being a decent play for it. Cover 3 as well, you end up hitting the seams just like the other plays, but unfortunately, well, if you guys are playing regs, you guys can still rock PA seams. If you guys are not playing regs and you're playing MUT right now, there are no quarterback abilities in the game, so you know, a good option to switch to is slot out or this mesh post, because you have the running back route. It's a very good short yardage play, plus you have a decent corner on that left side that you guys will be able to exploit. So again, these are the 4 audibles for this. We got spot, inside zone, Y out, and whatever you want as that 4th spot. But make sure you guys have these 3 plays. Now, why do we have these 3 plays? The only time I run the spot play is if I notice that they're in man coverage. You have 2 corner routes here. And again, the hash mark does not matter. All you're going to do is pretty much streak the person on the short side of the field. Why on the short side of the field? Because if they are in zone, you're going to be able to run a flood concept. And then you have both zones on the opposite side of the ball, which is going to help. Now, another thing that you guys can do for this specifically, and I'm going to reset the play. Actually, get your screenshot in, and let's go over the reads here. So progression, you're going to look at R1 first. And this is my bread and butter here. This is my bread and butter against man coverage. And I'm going to go ahead and call an instant replay just to show you guys. So your first read is always going to be this route here. Second read, this job does excuse me, English is hard. This route does a good job at separating itself from man coverage. As you can see, he ends up getting decent amount of space. And then depending on which one you want to look at, these 2 routes here do a decent job at getting open against man coverage. Again, I don't have the best team on offense or defense. This is an 80 overall tight end, but he gets enough separation where we're able to sit there and throw that ball and accurately catch that pass. So those are your reads. Those are your progressions. Now, 2 things that you guys can do when it comes to this, and I clicked instant replay again, is motion over one of the other guys here. And the reasoning for that is because you'll be able to sit there and have okay, you know what? For this specifically, we're going to motion over this guy. Actually, we can't. So let's shift the side of the field here just to make this a little bit crazier here. And we're going to take Brown and we're going to motion him to the opposite side. So if you do this and you are still trying to run that flood concept, make sure that you either leave square exactly where he is or put him on a streak. Why? Again, you guys can screenshot this as well. The reason why you would want to do this is because on the short side of the field, you want to be able to bring back any of these zones that might be trying to guard the streak. It will leave the corner route wide open. The motioned over corner that we have now turned into a post. But as you can see, look at the separation there, and we're able to go absolutely crazy there. And it's going to kind of frustrate your opponent to deal with somebody who keeps motioning and audibling into different plays. It's just a frustrating thing for them to deal with. And this is one of my favorite plays to run out of this formation, especially if they are, kind of nonstop running man coverage. Now you can alternate this with the mesh spot play. I'm not going to call it, but it pretty much has the same concept. All you have to do is streak the outside receiver on whatever corner side it is. So the mesh spot play is this play right here on the square side. For those of you guys who are hard at seeing, this is the play right here. All you have to do is streak literally the outside receiver on that side, and then you have a full flood concept with a hitch that goes right in the middle of the field, which is a very good play as well. But there's so many things that you could do out of tight offset. This isn't the most complete tight offset, but it's enough to get us yardage. Now, the next play, Y out, and this one's gonna double as a coverage beater as well. Like it's gonna be a bomb over the top. So we're gonna call a random coverage here. And you have 2 options when it comes to this. You can take the tight end and put him on a drag. This has been a concept that's been in the game for forever. You guys can screenshot this if you'd like. And again, your first 2 reads, let's go ahead and make our progressions. X is open, overthrow. So your first 2 reads, I'm just calling a play just so I can go over the reads slowly. So your first reads here are going to be the double drags. Now the double drags, they do a great job at bumping defenders. So these 2 guys end up bumping defenders, especially if they're in man coverage, and one of them always ends up wide open. And that's why the double drag works so well. Then your second read is going to be number 2. This guy right here. This corner routes are very weird this year. Sometimes they get wide open separation and sometimes they don't. There's only one corner route that I found that is literally nonstop, just money against man coverage. And I'll show that to you guys at the end of this video because it is in a single back formation that I have not perfected yet. So this corner does a decent job at getting open, but if you're running a flood concept, you will be able to utilize this fairly easily. But again, your final read, especially if they're in like a cover 2, is going to be this guy over here. So let's go ahead and call the other setup. Now the other setup works very well against a cover 3. So we're calling a cover 3 right now. And I'm putting everybody in a spy, so there's no blocking anything. So you streak the tight end here. You streak X or A if you guys are on the Xbox. And if you want to create even more, you take R1, put him on a wheel route. After that, if you have enough time, what should happen, we got our first cover 3 beater of the year. An oldie but a goodie. All you have to do is you don't need the wheel route there. You can simply streak the tight end and you end up having a bomb over the top. Now again, your read progressions, you start off with this guy. Then you look towards the drag coming across. Then the corner. If you notice that this guy is coming down for the corner route, you hold on to that ball and you throw your beater over the top. Nothing's better than scoring a 1-play touchdown. It's the most frustrating thing for a defender to guard, and they will have a terrible time doing so. So make sure that you guys are, focusing on exactly what you're seeing. And I should actually make that the thumbnail, him diving into the end zone like that. But, we like to be flashy. So again, coverage beater makes life extremely, extremely easy. The wheel route does nothing. It simply, sometimes you end up being able to throw it like inside here. But again, it essentially isn't going to do much unless they're in a cover 2. Again, cover 2 or cover 4, you will do fairly decent with a wheel route on the field most of the time. So again, make sure you look at that running back route first, then the drag, then the corner. And then if the corner is bringing down this safety here or cornerback here, you're going to go ahead and hold on to that ball and throw that ball way over the top for your touchdown. That is your Y out play. It's one of the best plays in the game. Now, I'm going to call timeout and call the third play out of this formation. It does not make my audibles often, but there is a decent setup, and that's slot outs. And I'm going to go ahead and call it an random play here because all you're going to do is take the other guy that's on an out route, opposite side of the running back, and you're going to put him on a slant. And again, this is one of those formations where you're going to be able to quick hike fairly easily and make a terrible read. So you're going to slant that guy. I completely forgot. You slant him and then you put the opposite tight end that's on an out route in a flat. So this is going to be something more of a short yardage read, but you're going to confuse your opponent by the 2 streaks that are on the field because you can hit them in the seams if they get open. So again, terrible read by me. This is one play that doesn't really make the roster, and that's why I didn't mention it in the in the audibles. But again, this is a decent play to confuse your opponent from time to time. But again, this does not make my roster that often. And again, this is more so decent against man coverage. I don't run it that much, but some people say that it's a very good play. So I figured I mention it in here. So simply take triangle, put them on a slant, take X, keep them on a flat, or put them on a hitch. Either or will work. And you're pretty much going to just kind of create that separation. And that time they got bumped. So unfortunately that didn't work. But again, this one does not make my thing. I'm just recording it for you guys because some people like like this play. I simply don't. So I'll probably never run this in a game myself, but it does look like it gets decent separation. Now, if Hot Route Master comes out, this play will be a little bit better. But again, this does not make my audible list. I rather run PA seams. I just figured I include this in this video for those of you guys who like that play. Now, the final play, bunch tight end. This is not a formation that's that great this year, simply because there's really no coverage like beater out of it like that's really good. Now you're gonna want to run this to the wide side of the field a majority of the time, but the two plays that we're gonna mainly look at are X spot and PA boot over. Now those are gonna be in the audibles. I got X spot here and I have PA boot over here. The last one, dealer's choice. The quarterback's velocity, again, if you're playing Madden Ultimate Team, the quarterback's velocity means a lot in this formation. So this triple out play doesn't really do much to help you. The out routes don't get open easily. The corner route doesn't destroy man coverage, which kind of makes it so it's a little bit difficult for you to actually get over the top of defenses. So X spot and PA boot over are the two main reads, and it's going to be the two main things that we're going to go over. Now, PA boot over is the best when you're running it stock. Why? Because you're going to try to quick hike people. X spot is simply one of those plays where you're flooding the zones. You're running a flood concept here. So let's go over X spot first. And very simple. I'm going to call a random play on the defensive side of the ball. So calling random plays, this looks like man coverage. The corner route, again, is one of those shaky corner routes that doesn't really always translate into beating man coverage. And you have two options here. You can either streak square or streak O. Right? So I'm going to reset the play and streak O. If you're running this on the short side, you can streak O and still get the flood concept. But if you're not running this on the short side, you have to streak square to help yourself with the flood concept that's on that left side. And let's see triangle not beat his man on man coverage. Oh, he actually beat him. Okay. So sometimes he'll win that battle and sometimes he won't. As you can see, I have Cordarrelle Patterson as my wide receiver because my team's not that great. But there's two setups here. You're going to streak one of those guys, and then you're going to either streak the tight end, or you're going to put your tight end on either an in route or put him on his own drag. Now, if you put him on a drag, run this to the wide side. You want to run this to the wide side so you have enough time for these guys to get their separation off. Oh, my notes. You have enough time for these guys to get the separation off down here. So this flat route can get out into the flat at a decent pace without them bumping into each other too much. So these two guys right here, you have a double flat, which means that if they are in zone, you will be able to it'll kind of space out the tight end drag that's on the field. So let's go over progressions and reads. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this and put the tight end on a streak here. And this play right here is kind of money. So I'm just going to call it first, see if I see anything crazy. Triangle ends up open. And I said that route didn't beat man coverage and it just beat it twice. So let's just say it's a good man beating route. So your first read is going to be the flat pattern right here. Number 2, but obviously he was guarded. Your second and third read are kind of going to be simultaneous. Again, you have two streaks on the field. So one of these guys is going to end up being sometimes in the seams open against a cover 3. So that's why it's a good idea from time to time to streak the inside guy and the tight end, because you create this crazy seam situation where these guys end up kind of confusing the defense. So again, you guys can do this, and to make it a little bit worse for your opponent, to make it a little bit harder, you can motion this guy out. I used to motion hike that, and that time literally nobody got open because of the man coverage. Again, that triangle route isn't as consistent as I'd like it to be, but if you notice that they're running man coverage, simply take that tight end, put him on a drag. It will help your situation out a ton. And they're blitzing again, the drag wide open. I kind of went left there. Let's go ahead and go over the progressions. Again, you're going to this is going to be number 1. Your tight end or the other streak is going to be number 2. simply because if they're on a double streak, you want to hit the seams early. And if he's on a drag, this is still going to be number 2. Number 3 is going to be the corner route that comes across the field. And number 4, if you see the streak up the field going over, you're going to want to hit that streak very, very easily. So that is X-Spot. Now let's go ahead and call timeout and call everybody's favorite play, bunch tight end, PA boot over. This play has been giving people nightmares. So there's only 2 setups that I run. I either run it stock and kind of do the whole rollout thing because it still works as we overthrow that. But you've seen that he was open for the play. And if you're gonna run it stock, you're gonna want to do exactly what I'm doing here. As he overthrows another pass, you're gonna want to press R2 or right trigger as soon as the handoff is going, and you're gonna be able to kind of run out of the pocket very, very easily. You're going to be able to motion out of the pocket. It doesn't matter who you have, but you hold your left stick to the right or to the left, depending on which side the play action is going. And you're going to be able to kind of motion out of the pocket fairly quick. And I don't know why he's just literally poor accuracy every single time. Let's try a little trick that I think I have. No poor accuracy. Yep. Good accuracy, but deflected. Yeah, that was good accuracy as my guy has no chance to throw that ball. But again, this is literally a bread and butter play. In games, you will not get the throw accuracy as bad as it looks right now. Let's see if we can finally get one of the plays off. As you can see, boom, we end up finally getting it. But PA boot over. It's self-explanatory. One of the easiest plays to run in the game with a flood concept, levels concept, everything short. And then on the side of the field, you end up going crazy with it. Now, 2 setups. Streak the tight end. Why? Because if you streak the tight end, you're giving yourself the option to bring any zones that are on the field. So if these, my squigglies are messing up. So if these guys are in a deep zone, it's going to bring these zones back while you have your flood concept pretty much going across the field, which is going to allow you to simply go crazy. So take a screenshot, and then we're going to run the play here. And we just keep dropping every single pass. So that's pretty much setup number 1. And then setup number 2 is put the tight end on a drag. This is going to work against man coverage very, very easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and call man coverage here. It's going to give you multiple options here. And I don't like to do the motioning a lot in this formation because, again, you want to be able to quick hike your opponent. You want to flip your audible and quick hike your opponent. And again, it's very inconsistent, but you'll end up getting a lot of different results, especially against man coverage. Zone coverage, you're just flooding zones just like this. And you're pretty much hoping that the routes here end up getting open. Cordell Patterson finally catches it. And that's pretty much how you run bunch tight end. Now, previous years, you could put this on the field, and then you could put this guy here and then motion this over, and all of a sudden you have a crazy coverage beater. But this year, it's just not the same, even though we actually had the coverage beater open there. So if you do slightly want to try, you have to put a streak on the field somewhere. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole gist of this. Squares open. Do we get it? And we got it. Boom. And that is how we're gonna end the shotgun. I did mention that I was gonna mention my favorite play out of single back in this formation, and it's gonna be out of a single back tight formation. And listen, I do not have the best team, but this play, this under Z curl play, is easily the best man coverage corner in the game. This corner destroys man coverage. Don't know why, but you will always end up getting that separation every single time. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the coding situation is. I don't know if it's because he shakes his head to the right and goes left. But this play saved me so many times. And I'm talking about when I had 80 overall speed receivers on the field. This play, for some reason, and he doesn't look open, but you can always pass lead this to the left and get a catch. It saved me so many times, especially if I needed a situation And I'm going to go ahead and press because I feel like pressing might even help this a little bit more. So he's pressing. And that's probably the only time where it didn't work. But in game, I promise you, try this out. It also has a stretch play in it and everything else that you need out of one of these formations. But again, look at it just works so much better online that it's absolutely crazy. This is the New York Jets playbook part 2. And you guys absolutely crushed the light goal. I don't know what light goal I'm going to leave down in the description, but I'll leave something so you guys could, so hopefully you guys could run it up, man. Jets playbook part 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Best passing offense in the game. My name is Pony Montana, man. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.